I thrive off of purpose. And for me, purpose is changing lives, helping people like wake up and helping people see the blind spots and helping people find that passion or create that path. So we crashed and burned in 08. Like we crashed hard, man. Like we got burned, lost everything, sold a Super Bowl ring, sold my wife's wedding ring, cars got repoed, homes. We had a big portfolio, over $10 million worth of real estate. About 2011, right, we filed bankruptcy. I was broke for like 3.5, 4 years. Like nothing worked. Nothing I did worked. In 2011 is when everything changed.
Welcome to Loudr, the podcast that amplifies your voice. I'm Sean P., your host, and here we believe in giving everyone a platform to get louder. Whether it's your professional journey or personal stories, we encourage our guests to speak up on topics they couldn't voice before. Join us as we make waves, elevate conversations, and empower you to be heard. Let's get louder together. Today, I have a super special guest on today, Setema Gali, 2002, right?
Yeah.
Super Bowl champion, life coach, just an amazing, amazing man. And this is such an honor to have you on today, man.
Sure, thank you, man.
So Setema, I went through some really, really challenging times, and just like a lot of people probably got overabsorbed in the social media community, and I was not getting any fulfillment out of any of the crap that I was seeing on social media. Like everybody has and wants to show you the end result. This was my experience,
Sure.
right? And I moved to Vegas and was completely lost and ended up at an event that you had put on for maybe a real estate office, something?
Yeah, I was invited by a couple friends of mine, Shelly and Vaughn, and their clients and their associates and their colleagues. They're amazing. I love those girls, those ladies. And they said, "Hey, coach, will you come speak at our event?" I'm like, absolutely. So I came down in the summer. It was almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Came down and just spoke for about an hour and got off the stage and I left.
So that day, I remember showing up and I was just like, why am I here? Why am I here? So what I do is I lend hard money for people who fix up investment properties, right?
Got it. Okay.
And so realtors are not really my target audience. I don't deal with them a lot.
How'd you get there?
So, Vanna, when I moved out here, I was just really in kind of search of a network and trying to build out here within the real estate community. And I hadn't even had my Nevada real estate license yet. I hadn't had my Nevada loan license yet. So I couldn't even really do anything other than connect. And at that time, my marriage was, I was talking divorce. My wife and I would go weeks without talking. She was still living in California. And so I was out here kind of trying to lay the foundation for my family. And I had lost my job. I've been in the same career for 20 years in real estate, and I've evolved and I've gone into the private equity space, and I was working with a friend, and to keep it light, it didn't work out. I got screwed over. So I was out here in Vegas with no money. My wife was already nothing, bro, nothing, fighting for custody of my kids that were out here, which I couldn't see them because my kid's mom would not allow me to see them. So I had to be very careful how I went about that. My wife at home, rightfully so, was not confident in me. So our relationship, I didn't feel like a man. And the first time I ever have gone on stage at an event, bro, was like, I don't even know why that happened. And I left there and I thank you so much, bro. You changed my mindset. Seriously. And it changed everything for me, bro. And I want to share with you, and I want to share with everybody how it did that, because there are so many life coaches or coaches that we see, but who's real? Who's real, man? And the way that you did it was you didn't promise me anything. You didn't say, if you do this, you are going to get that. You were very direct in letting me know, like, you can think of any excuse you want to for every problem that you have right now, and you can go through your day and you can make an excuse for all of them if you want to, and that's okay. And that's what tripped me out, is you were telling people, like, if you're going to have that excuse for yourself, that's okay. And that's awesome. Good for you. That's great. But just be honest with yourself. Stop coming to these events and saying that you want to change, but then you go home and you don't. And although I feel like a lot of people are saying that, when I started to peel it back and I jumped into your podcast, and I don't listen to podcasts, the irony behind that, here we are on a podcast, right?
Doing a podcast.
And I'm trying to reach people through a podcast and trying to help, and they're just, long ones are hard for me to listen to. I don't need all that.
Yeah.
And so I started listening to your podcast, bro, and I would be in the gym, your 8-minute podcast. I could hear the key ring in your car, bro, dinging. I could hear you backing up. I could hear you changing lanes. And the stories that you were sharing were just about the love that you had for people around you, and the experience, like your niece got accepted to a college or had a big game. And that's what changed me, bro. Thank you.
You got it, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for being open. Thank you for listening. And thank you for giving us a shot to just reach you. But, you've done the work. A lot of people go to those events and they hear something, they feel something, they don't do anything. You did something, because I saw you as soon as I moved to Vegas, and you came up to me. And then the fact that my niece was there and you said something, that touched her heart. She was like, because she would listen to it. I shot a podcast for you. So, no, Sean, thank you, man. I appreciate you just being a humble, coachable individual.
Well, I think it's important that you get in front of more people, bro.
Thank you.
And, that's the main reason why I wanted to invite you on here, is because I talk a lot about probably micro events that go on in men's lives when they're at the point that I was at.
Yeah.
Things in life that I want to be as a man. But the greatest and most specific accomplishment for me is to leave a legacy to my 2 boys.
Yeah.
And provide to them and raise men, which is lacking in our world now. God's will, God's purpose for why he gave me two boys for a reason, which is already an honor to get boys. Of course I would take daughters as well, but to have 2 boys is like, we know we're passing our seeds on, and now but you're coaching adults and you're coaching children. And the fact that you've gone to the root is like, I just, can you share I'm talking a lot, but just having to share with everybody why I'm so passionate about you and the connection and how all this came up and why you're here and why I genuinely think that you need to get in front of way more people. You are an amazing human being. Like, please share with us more about you, what you're doing, what you're up to, who you are, all that good stuff.
I appreciate it. It's an honor to be here. Thank you. And we get hit up with a lot of requests to jump on podcasts. And we have some rules about the podcast I will do. But because you approached me in the gym and you shared with me, man, you made a difference. I'm like, dude, let's get together. So I'm honored. Just like did the football thing, came home in 2003, was in the mortgage industry back then. It was easy to make money. I kind of got fooled into thinking I'm really good. I was in an industry that was easy to make money. I was doing mortgages. Then it led to real estate. This is 2004, 5, 6, 7. But my heart, it was 2006, December. My son was my oldest, who's 17 now. He was just born. So he's on my chest, and I'm sitting in my home. It's a 6,000 brand new square foot home. This big old home. I got all these cars in the garage. I had a ton of money, and I was very empty. I was just empty. I was like, this is not it. And I don't mean the money. I mean what I was doing. Because I'm a purpose-driven man. I thrive off of purpose. And for me, purpose is changing lives. Helping people, wake up and helping people see the blind spots and helping people find that passion or create that path. So, we crashed and burned in 08. We crashed hard, man. We got burned. Lost everything, sold a Super Bowl ring, sold my wife's wedding ring, cars got repoed, homes. We had a big portfolio, over $10 million worth of real estate and properties all over Florida, Atlanta, Hawaii, Utah, Vegas, here in Vegas. And so by 2011, right, we filed bankruptcy. I was broke for like 3.5, 4 years. Like nothing worked. Nothing I did worked. In 2011 is when everything changed. A buddy of mine kept recruiting me to go knock door to door. And I was desperate, man. I was like...
It takes a lot to do that, man.
I was 35 years old at the time. And I was desperate. Like, we had nothing. I mean, we went from a lavish, wonderful, comfortable lifestyle to giving and helping and traveling and to nothing. And I mean, I was in a 900 square foot townhome, miserable, just depressed. Like, maybe my best days are behind me.
Were you in shape then? Did you take care of yourself, or you were still kind of like...
out. Yeah, I still go to the gym, but I wasn't like nothing like now. Like I'd go to the gym, but you know, when you're broke financially and nothing's working, it's almost like everything pulls at you, like, and your doubts and your fears just like this is a steep climb, and I'm fighting. But I didn't have the skill sets, I didn't have the mindsets. Then a buddy of mine recruited me to go knock door to door, and when I went, like. Man, it changed my world. It changed everything. I was so committed. Like, I looked at my wife, I said, I'm not coming back to Utah until this thing is done. And it was 20 weeks of knocking, just the summertime, April to into September. And it was Georgia, hot, South Carolina into Georgia. And it was, brother, that summer changed my life. It changed my world. I mean, we had money. I worked 2 to dark 30 Monday through Friday, all day Saturday. I was knocking at 10 at night, getting into homes at 10:30, closing deals at 11:30. I'm knocking on doors at 7 a.m. on a holiday, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day. And the rest is history. And that put me on a trajectory. And today, right, obviously, a decade later, I coach wonderful clients. I love it. I speak on stages. I change lives. I'm living my purpose. But the doors, door to door, that was a pivotal moment for my life. So today I got 3 boys, 17, 14, 11, married 18 years. I love my clients. I love my life. I love where we live. We live here in Vegas now, and I sing with my boys a ton. We're active in our church, and I mean, life is good. And again, we are on a path to go change the world in our organization.
Yeah. Man, I remember feeling that story when you had said that, the event that I had gone to. And if anybody can get a chance to see you speak in person, it was just powerful, man. The way that you break it down is so relatable to where, and maybe it was just me, maybe it was just that moment I was ready, you know?
When the student is ready.
Yeah,
the teacher appears.
So maybe it was that, but after that, I've been following you, bro. And still listening to your podcast. Like I said, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts because after like
600 plus episodes.
Yeah. I mean, so they say if you do more than 20, you're in the top 1%.
Yeah.
When I saw you the first time at Dragon's Lair, man, and let me tell you, there's a reason why I go to that gym is to run into guys like yourself, bro. And I was almost like starstruck, bro, because it was like that moment where I'm like, Sean, you need to go say what's up to this man.
I'm so glad you did,
dude,
man.
bro. I'm
Shoot.
like, just to let this man know that what he's doing, you pulled it off. You changed one person's life. Like, you literally changed my life. I'm like, had nothing to do with me, man. I didn't even expect to be sitting here with you. I didn't want anything out of it. I just was like, you know what? This was right at the beginning when I started to implement and go into this direction of talking about my past experience. So I'm like, you know what? What would be the power behind somebody coming up and being like, Sean, thank you. Bro, that would be everything, because I've set into this and I've prayed about just changing, like, God, just please put me in a position where I can just change one person and help one person. And so I did, and I almost didn't because I caught you on the way out, bro.
I'm glad you said something.
And the fact that you even remembered me, you didn't remember my name, but you were like, dude, you look familiar.
I know. I was like,
and then when you connected it, yeah. How do people like really connect with your coaching? Like, what can you kind of just walk us through, like on the adult side of it? And then I really want to dive into the kids stuff, but the immersion, right?
So we used to run a program called Immersion.
Okay.
We closed that chapter. I did that for 10 years. That was our boot camp, like on the beaches and the hills and the mountains. Intense. You know, we're picking them up at 5 a.m., finishing at like 11 at night. It was an amazing journey, but God was like, it's time to be done with that. So today, right, we have something called Game Changer X, and it's just people get to come in and it's a $7, a $19, $100 and right, there's just a level that everyone that makes sense for them and their level of commitment and where they are, they can join. Then we have our masterminds, right? It just gets higher and higher. But for me, I tell people, look, if you're coming to me for the tactics, I was like, you don't need that. Go to YouTube, go buy a book, go buy one of my courses. Like, you can find to-dos and how-tos how-tos are on YouTube, Instagram, but they're all out there. Like, you don't need that. A coach can do that. But for me, I tell people, like, if you're serious about transforming your world, how you see yourself, how you see the world, and you're serious about cutting off unworkable behaviors that are just like addictions and things that are just like procrastination, and you just want something more. Like, you're like, I gotta level up, and I want to be a better husband, father. I want to be a better wife, mother. I want spirituality in my life. I want to be fit. I want to have money I want to live this, what I call purpose-driven life. That's who I coach. I coach people who are up to big things, who want purpose. If you're just a money-hungry guy, I'm like, I can help you.
Yeah.
But you want the whole package: family, marriage, children, God, faith, purpose, universe. And people call it balance, call it harmony. I can help you, but you got to be. My biggest thing is, if you're not committed, because 90% of the work is on the client.
Yeah.
The 10% I bring is massive.
Yeah.
But the client has to bring the goods. I always say this: 500 times 0 is always 0. So if you're a 0, like, I can't help you.
Yeah.
But if you're just like, okay, no matter what, I'm ready to go. I want more from my life. I want to have conversations that get deeper and that fulfill me. Like, I can help people. So that's it. I love what I do. I have one-on-one clients. We have group clients. We have our masterminds. We do our own Game Changer events, and I love my lifestyle. Sean, I built my business for lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I'm literally just finished at the gym.
Yeah. My wife said she saw you earlier.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, what does your wife look like, man?
She's a little Latina girl.
Oh man,
Yeah.
shoot! Did you tell her she needs to come say hi?
I'll tell her to say what's up. Yeah, I will.
Yeah, just like I had calls this morning with clients. Then I got a workout in. Then I had another call with my team member. Then I had talked to my business partner. Then I came here.
Yeah.
And then this afternoon I got a little bit more work. I'll go hang out with my boys, hang out with my family. We'll do our family scriptures and prayer and all that family good stuff. Eat dinner as a family and go to bed. Like, that's a full day for me.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
That's beautiful. Yeah. I was thinking about that, as a matter of fact, on the way here, because kind of segueing into the kid edition of that, as kids in our systems that we have now, like, they're so programmed. Like, what are they really getting out of it? What they're getting out of it is, you need to be somewhere from 8:30 to 3:30, or else you didn't do anything for your day. Well, then my boys look at me and they're like, Dad, that's not what you do. You're always doing something. I'm like, yeah, I am. But you're always with us. Yeah, I am. You're always able, like, we can go places and we have nice things, kind of like a side conversation. My boys, I let them have one of their teammates over this weekend. It was the first time.
Nice. And
the boy got in my car and was like, this is the nicest car I've ever been in. And like, of course, like, I felt great, but I was just watching my boys and the way that they were like acting.
It's proud, huh?
Super proud. They weren't like, oh yeah, isn't it cool? First thing, Cruz, the older of the twin, he's like, do you want to sit up front? Because the chairs, they massage. And so he gave up his seat right away. And I was like, cool, man. Watching that happen, I was like, they didn't act like little spoiled jerks, and awesome. That's important to me. And so I value that you've built this around your life. And I mean, that's important. So,
well, I'll say this to that. Like, a lot of people, if you want all the stuff, let's go get it. I believe that if that's going to make you, like, there was a time when I had the $200,000 car I like cars. I'm a big dude, so I drive a truck. My point is, it's like, I won't be the wealthiest, but nobody will do it happier than me.
Yeah.
Like that's my thing. I'm like, you can do it bigger and better. I'm cheering you on to go get what you feel is what you want. And I'm like, go get it. And no one does it happier than us. Like I'm happy. Like I love to make money. I love to create value. I love to serve. I love my church. I love my community. I love our kids, our clients, our teams. But if I'm not happy and I'm not enjoying this process, even in the tough times, what's the point? Like, what's the point, brother? I'm almost 50, man. There's no time to be stuck in unworkable patterns and behaviors and depressing moods. So I tell people, no one does it happier than we do. No one does it with more gratitude and fun and joy than we do.
That's what it is right there. That's exactly right there. What drew me to you was that exactly. And I just got clarity on it right now after 2 years, is because what you preach and the way that you carry yourself, it is all about happiness. Whereas, a lot of things that I was looking at, it was the flashy, the car this, the car that. I like money. Like you said, you just acknowledged everything that I like money. I like nice cars. I want that. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you put it first and I was watching, so before I went through the time that I did with my kids, I was doing well. I started in the mortgage business when I was 18 years old, man. So I was in 2008. So I didn't have an opportunity to make the mistakes that a lot of people did, like yourself at that point. I just wasn't even old enough to do it yet. So I skated by and then had a big climb up, and so was doing really well for myself. And so I had I could do what I wanted. I could drive what I wanted. And I was never really happy at all. And so as I watch a lot of these guys who have all that stuff, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't mind having, of course I would want that car. That's a dope car, of course. But you start to peel it back, and a lot of people haven't gone through tough times. They kind of just went straight to that, or they never have had happiness, and they're trying to put that in front of people to be like, hey, this is happiness. And so I could never get any value from any of that, bro. Yeah. And then when I met you and you started talking about being with your boys and your family, how happy you were, that is exactly where I connected with you right there. I can now identify it for sure, because that's
awesome.
All that I want. That is life. That's
why we're
what
here
I
together.
Want.
Though that's why we connect, man. Because like cars, homes is important, and if you want them, we go get them.
Yep.
And they're amazing. They're amazing tools. I call them tools of production. But the happiness is not found like when I get that thing. It's found on the journey. It's found in the everyday things and the moments of developing in personal growth and development, of being disciplined and being your word. And the happiness is found in like being better today than I was yesterday, and then making a difference and bringing everyone along with you. You're probably like me. I walk into the lair, and I know I hug, high five everybody. I know half the names in there, and it's just good to see like they have a community. Like I get dialed in and locked in to work out, but man, I love to be happy, and I love the lifestyle. So everything you're saying is true. Like a lot of people get lost in seeking happiness in something out there.
Yeah.
And if you don't have it here first, you think you're going to get it out there. Then when you get that thing and it's empty and it's not satisfying, then you try to go find it. It's somewhere else. I'm like, no, look here. Look here. Look at your words, your character, your integrity. Look at your ambition and your goals, and look at how well you live your life. You get that joy, you'll have joy in the stuff. But if you don't have joy here first, the stuff just makes it worse.
Yeah. So articulating that and telling that to an adult is one thing. Bro, how are you doing it on? I love the fact that you've gone to the root to our children. My children will, in some way, I'm still learning a lot about what you guys are starting. My boys will be there in that setting, because I believe in it. So share with us that, and how there's got to be money everywhere for you to live and to fulfill also your lifestyle and pay for your bills. And so is with coaching adults, it's like, hey, here you go, Setema, I'll pay you. That's the price. Cool. how do you then go to, now you got to convince a kid and an adult?
So
yeah, shine some light on what you're doing.
So if you look at the public school system, it's a conveyor belt system. The curriculum was built, 100 years ago, 80 years ago, if you look at the history of it, by the Rockefellers. They're built to build workers.
Yep.
The curriculum, half the stuff today is so old and outdated. Like, come on, man. Anyone that's listening to this, the curriculum, having your kids sit in a box, in a seat, inside of a curriculum that's teaching them stuff to regurgitate, to go from test to test to test. They don't care about if you're learning how to do taxes, how to invest, how to save. They don't teach you how to do your goal setting and mindset. They give you this curriculum that dumbs you down. And again, I'm being very bold here, right? So it's like my boys asked me to pull them out and homeschool them in Florida a couple years ago. And I'm like, what? And they were like, Dad, we waste a lot of time in school. And the stuff kids, it's disgusting. And there's so much crap. And, middle school kids are having sex and they're vaping. And I'm like, whoa, this is cool. I'm like,
so that's where you learn it all.
You're better off here at my house. So she's my business partner, but she had this concept to open up this academy, and we call it micro schooling. So for the homeschool communities, we opened up a micro school where the homeschoolers come and bring their kids, and we're an education company. Look, the reason why this business works is your children are going to be either in a public school, private, charter, or homeschool. They're going to learn somewhere.
Yep.
So we insert ourselves in the conversation. So we run micro schools, and you can pull your child out of a public school. You can homeschool them by yourself. There's co-ops. There's a whole nother world. But if you just feel like, I want my kids to still have some social aspect, and our classes are 10 kids per, we call them a coach. It's not a class of 40 to 50. They're not taking tests and being graded on these standardized tests. I'm like, standardized by who?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you want to be great at life, do life. If you want to be good at school, go do school. There's people who are good at school. They're horrible at life.
Right.
And an A and a B and a C and a D, that doesn't determine if you're really smart. Everyone learns different. So in our micro school, and we call it Elite Performance Prep Academy, our curriculum is different. It's 10 students per coach. We have the athlete center. So if you're an athlete, in the classroom, in the facility for an hour. In the classroom, they're another 30, 35. Like, our boys are training, boys and girls are training daily. We go Monday through Thursday. We have online classes, and, it's without question, it's a big one. We have a few centers. We got some in Florida, some here. The goal is to have 500 micro school centers around the country and to be the standard of education. Again, we're talking about educating our children in a way where they are critical thinkers. They can solve problems. They have conversations.
Right.
They're not graded upon I was horrible at taking tests.
Yeah, I didn't do well at
I
school.
took the ACT. I got an 18 on it. And I got into D1 to play. I was like, I need an 18. Let me get my 18.
Right.
And then I went to play football. So this business of micro schooling children, and then I love it because I got to go take my curriculum for the adults, which has been a blessing from God. I take that curriculum, plug it into the children. My boys, they're like, man, I love the classes, Dad. I love when you teach. I'm not boring. It's engaging. The kids are, I'm teaching them the stuff I teach the adult, and I'm framing it up. So all of a sudden, these children, they're being real and raw. It's exactly what you experienced when you heard me speak. These children are sharing. This last call, they're like, I was like, what's one of the biggest stories that you tell yourself? And one of them was like, I'm just not good enough. This is like a 12-year-old saying this already, repeating it again and again and again. And where else can they be real about it? Most kids aren't even real with their parents because their parents are still dealing with their trauma.
Yeah.
So in our class, I do my courses, and man, the parents are like, my kids can't stop talking about what they're learning with you. I'm like, it's not me. It's, I call it the Spirit of God. It's the curriculum. It's the way we coach and teach. That engage. My son put his notepad on the piano I was playing. It's all my class. He's like, here's my notes, Dad. The story you tell the most about yourself is the story you believe. He's like, all my curriculum. I'm like, he's like, yeah, Dad,
I got you.
I love your stuff.
Yeah.
So, that's what it is. It's an opportunity to change lives the child level. If we can empower our kids to be critical thinkers, to be serial self-talkers and positivity and empowerment, right? Like serial, like, I got this, let's go. Because most kids repeating are the negative voices.
Yeah.
Not good enough, I suck, I'm fat, oh my gosh, I wish I was more of this, I'm not that good, I'm not. They repeat this again, and that's what the adults do.
Yeah, it's like they just send them off to like the school therapist and
Take this pill.
Oh, geez.
Take this pill.
Yeah,
they
this
don't.
is
They
magic.
don't ask about nutrition, sleep,
Nothing.
sunlight, exercise. That's why I'm like the current system. Good example. I go into the hospital, gallbladder or something. I'm like, well, let's just have surgery. I'm like, you haven't asked me about what I eat, what I drink, what I sleep. Are you kidding me? And I didn't say this out loud. They're like, yeah, we should have surgery. The next, hey, well, let's just remove your gallbladder. You get paid to take my gallbladder out.
Right.
You don't even care about me. So I was like, nah, man. And I just been cleaning up since. But my point is, our children deserve way better, man. Like, they deserve better. And we have rules in our home about electronics. And again, we're still working with our kids to be open with us and have a safe space. And we have agreements and rules. And we hug every day. Like, my boys got to hug me every day. I got to hold them and touch them. And, they're some big dudes. My youngest still kisses me on the lips. And I'm just committed to truly helping people.
So how would like a parent like me, right? Let's say I couldn't afford, like, are there grants? Are there ways to actually pay? Like, how does somebody like myself find this? How could I get in contact with you? How could, what would I go through if I brought,
So I would say, our website is Elite Performance Prep Academy. Elite Performance Prep Academy. Go there, fill out the form. The team's going to reach out, and then we're just like any other call that you're used to. Let's figure out where you are as a parent. Let's look at your situation. Let's look at what you're trying to achieve with your children. There's grants. There's donors. Nevada's not a great state for grants and funding, but like Florida, the parents, you get like $8,000 to $9,000 a year. Where you go, the money goes. So you want to pull your kid out of public school in Florida and come with us, that money from the state comes to the family, which comes to us.
So
Nevada doesn't have that yet. That's about to happen in Utah. California's a little bit different. But I always tell people, if you want to homeschool your children, but you're like me, I'm not able to homeschool. I run my businesses.
Right.
We're the men. We gotta provide. So
right.
I always tell people, just go to our site, fill out the form, and we get on the phone, and there's online classes. We have online mentors and coaches. We have in-person centers. And I always tell people, just don't let money be a reason. There's always a way. There's people out there who write big checks, who we have a nonprofit. But
the point is you help lead people in the direction that they need to go.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
That would, like, my initial thought to all this is like, man, I wonder what the tuition, I wonder, I'm wondering all the basic normal level questions that a parent would have, right?
Yeah.
Like, because I'm programmed to think that my kids have to go to public school. I'm really not.
Yeah. But a lot of people are.
A lot of people are. And, if you really are real, it's a safe place for your kids to go somewhere so you can go to work. You know what I mean? So a lot of people still have to work. So that issue, that problem that comes in is set on your lap. Like, okay, well then how do I still provide for my family? Like, I can't homeschool, and to know that
we couldn't either. Yeah. My wife was like, there's no way. I will not. I cannot. And I'm like, well, I can't either. But then along comes this organization, and my business partner, her name is Tasha. And she literally, well, not literally, but it was it last year? 23, a year ago at this time, we pulled our kids out of public school. And when you pull them out in like mid-April, you can't just pick up there. You have to take them in homeschool. You have to take them through a whole semester. She finished them in like 4 to 5 weeks. That's how much time they waste in public schools.
Wow.
She finished a whole curriculum of a whole semester, January to May, in like 4 weeks. And my boys, I'm like, do you want to go back to public school? No.
Yeah.
We love this.
And that's another thing so there's been one thing that my kid's mom and myself that we agree on, and it's this issue, which I'm so thankful if it could be one thing that it's this issue, right? So my boys are in 4th grade going into 5th, and I'm going to look a lot into what you guys are putting together, because I feel like they're junior high, so they're probably going to play competitive sports, right? So they need to be seen and play in high school,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, okay, so middle school would be a perfect time for them, and then to keep them back that 8th grade year, you know, so they
back,
can
yeah.
play up, is the only option for us. And so I'm excited to learn more about this, but the social aspect. So that's another thing I feel that maybe parents are concerned about as well, is like, how will my kids socially develop if they can't go meet other kids? When in reality, my boys, the people they want to play with are their teammates. It's not, yeah, they have their little classmate friends and stuff like that, but it's just at school, you know? So,
and like the way we do it, again, at our center up here in North Las Vegas, we partnered with Forge Performance. So I think there's like 40 kids up there. There's 40 kids, 30 to 40 kids, and there's 10 per class. So my boys they're around, there's 10 students in their class. And when they're on the turf in the gym, the other classes, and then they switch. So they still see kids socialize. We still do field trips. We still go out but we go Monday through Thursday. They train, like my boys physically. I mean, imagine it. It's not just PE walking around the track. They're lifting weights. They're sprinting. They're doing sports-specific things. And then they're around homeschooler, microschooler athletes.
right.
I mean, I look at Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow, you know his story? He homeschooled all through high school. So you can literally homeschool, and then you just go play with the school.
Mm.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's people like, well, my kids want to play sports. He homeschooled his entire high school years and then would go to football practice and play with his team.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
My niece, who's a scholarship, the 6A Gatorade Volleyball Player of the Year in Utah, she's at Utah. She homeschooled all 4 years and would just go run track, play basketball, and do volleyball at the school. Because, again, like my sister, who's her mom, she's like, the things that go on in public schools
It's nasty.
is so disgusting.
nasty.
There's low morals.
Yeah.
It's just tough. Like kids get to school, they hit that, I'm sure my boys have seen things that they shouldn't be seeing in public schools. And they'd come home, they say, man, Dad, the things that kids are looking at, they're looking at pornography and the jokes. And we have another example, just why I'm such an advocate for it. So there's a homeschool, he's one of our homeschoolers. He gets pulled out of homeschool. They put him in like a private school. In private school, he gets addicted to drugs, things inappropriate, puts him on the wrong path. And because he went to the school, because those were the people he was around.
Yeah.
And so I'm just grateful that we have an opportunity to make a lasting difference for the children in the curriculum and what we do with Elite.
Let's be honest, the school system, even in Vegas,
it's at the bottom.
It's at the bottom.
It's at the bottom.
Right.
As you look at Vegas across the country, it's at the bottom.
Yeah, right. So, there could be no worse option or anything bad that could come from the bottom. I mean, you're there. So
just imagine your kids going, again, if you come to Elite, mindset, setting goals, working out physically, they move quicker through the curriculum, but then there's so much conversation. Like if you see how I teach at my seminars, I teach the concept, they talk about it, they walk and talk, they're outside in the sun, they come back, we have open discourse, open discussion. It's up on the whiteboard, we question, we challenge, like we're teaching our children how to think critically.
Yeah.
How to question, how to challenge.
That emotional intelligence, I wish that I learned that when I was small, It's like learning another language, and then once you become an adult, and then we start to pack on all this baggage.
But they don't have that in the public schools. That's
no.
You're learning, the sign function and the tangent. Like, what are we doing? Unless you're going to be an engineer or a doctor who needs these things, like, why are we regurgitating things? Why are we learning things that don't matter? Because that's the curriculum that dumbs down kids. I could go on and on. I just know if I want my kids to be entrepreneurial, value creators, they need to be around people like us that are living big goals, big aspirations, overcoming adversity, learning how to invest. We have some of our homeschoolers that they know more about stocks and they have their money invested in stocks. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's what's up.
That's what's up. Well, thank you, man. I'm so happy to have you on this, man. I'm so happy just to be sitting here with you and being able to share with you, you know, how you impacted my life and listening to what you're up to. I mean, you're up to some really great things. Let people know where can we all find you? Where can we get some more information on everything that you're doing?
Best place is just to go to my URL. It's Setema Gali, SETEMA. It's spelled GALI, but it's pronounced with an N, like a nga. So Setema Gali, SETEMAGALI.com. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn. And again, I just tell people, like, I always tell people this, like, and you don't have to hire me, but if you find someone that you resonate with, you're like, man, I just feel something, this mentor, whether it's a man or a woman, like, golly, I like this. Follow them, pay them, go to their events, buy their book, get into, like, inch closer and get into their world. Even if that means you stroke a check. I've hired mentors 4 hours for 30 grand, 50 grand for a month, like 50 grand for 10 hours. I've been in masterminds. Like, I love to learn, and that's how you accelerate. So whether it's me or someone else, like, a podcast is great, a book is great, but to go to that next level, you got to invest in yourself, man. So you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, setemagali.com. And Sean, it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, brother. Well, I just pray for many blessings for you in the future, and I'm so glad that you're here in Vegas now, man. Now we can stay connected, and I could actually plug my boys in with your community and get them to where I want them to be as well. So thank you so much, bro. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
That wraps up another empowering episode of Loudr with Sean P. I want to express my gratitude for joining the conversation. Remember, your voice matters, and together we're creating a symphony of impactful stories. If you enjoyed today's episode, I want to hear from you. Please subscribe, share, leave a review, and let's continue making some noise. Until next time, stay empowered and stay loud.